Welcome back to the first call radio special.
You've searched for that certain group to please your clientele. Here we are, one by one. First Bonnie, then Marty, then Mel.
And now, reminiscing about First Call's advertising days, here's your host, Dan Keene.
Well, I mean, I can remember you guys being booked all day long and doing jingles on your lunch break.
On your lunch break,
and
right,
stuff
that's
like
right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Jock shouts.
Jock shouts.
For radio stations, you go and you do.
Bill
Bill,
Smith.
yeah, right.
Those things.
We'd run
We'd
over
do
and
those in between, and then we'd go back and sing some more.
It were maniacs.
Stayed up all night crying, you simply feel like dying, cause your baby up and phone ya, she's turned the lights out on ya. We're making the tough times better, we're making the good times best, WCNS.
Well, that's another
I don't ca-
aspect
you know.
of how much we did.
Yeah.
We just did everything we were
Everything.
asked to do.
First Pennsylvania, when you need some good advice.
And then after we became an artist group, then people would people would hire us because we were first call. It's like if they called, then we would go. So we ended up doing a lot of things that were not really even appropriate for us to do.
Like, for instance, I remember
I don't
a
remember.
particular
You tell us.
Warm
You tell a
Christmas
couple.
album. It was very moving to me. Barking dogs. Ring a bell?
Pound
anyone?
puppies.
Oh, Pound Puppies
Gee.
Christmas.
Pardon me?
Well, we did a Pound
Actually,
Puppies
I didn't
album.
do Pound
I was going to
Puppies, so-
ask you if you did that.
I didn't.
Mel and I did
So
Yeah.
Bonnie and Mel
a
could
Pound
talk about
Puppies
that.
Christmas album, and we had to be dogs. We had to bark the entire album. There were no words.
No words, just you guys
It was
barking?
Yeah, we had to bark, but we had to be
Show us
different.
how one of those
Oh,
works.
well, I was going to ask
No,
you guys if you.
I don't remember.
I
I have
don't
blocked
remember
it
any of
out.
those. No
I
comment.
have blocked it from my mind. Mel actually found the album and gave it to Marty and I for Christmas last year, which was nice for
So
her.
Really special.
We had to be different dogs. It wasn't just like you went in and had to be just kind of bark. You had to be different personalities and different dogs, like a poodle or a, I don't know.
Schnauzer.
They had us be old dogs, young dogs, middle-aged dogs, dogs going through puberty.
Do something.
No,
please. Try something.
You're listening to the First Call God is Good radio special with your host, Dan Keene.
Of course, you know that in your prior lives, Marty, you worked a lot with fireworks. Melody, you came out of Truth. Bonnie, you worked with Russ Taff a lot, and Amy. And then as a group, you guys have toured with Sandy Patty and Amy Grant, besides doing your own concerts. What was it like when you all of a sudden went on the road? You've all got children.
Well, I think Mel ought to answer that because she actually had Whitney 3 weeks before we left.
3
Go on
weeks.
Sandy's
Yeah.
tour.
Well, we started on the road, with Whitney. She was about 3 weeks old, and I guess when you just do it that way, then you just kind of think, I never thought this is how everybody does it by any stretch of the imagination, but you just adapt to it, and it had
It's
its
not a glamorous
hard
life. Yeah.
because we played so many huge basketball kind of arenas, and those aren't made for anything but sweaty athletes afterwards. And and here we've got this tiny little baby, and it was hard a lot of times to even find a place to lay or to change her diaper, because some of the places were so dirty. But we did a lot of praying, and it's really, I think, an act of God that none of our kids came down with anything.
Pneumonia.
And anything. We really had healthy children.
Any stories? Can you remember, Marty?
Well, I mean, all of us have stories about our kids learning to walk on the bus and
To make great
Peter.
surfers, I bet.
banging their heads on the the refrigerator and the bus, because we had so much junk with we all had kids on the bus,
For a year and a half.
which means big breakfasts in the morning, at 7:30 in the morning on the bus, instead of sleeping until you get to the hall or whatever.
Yeah, I remember
That's
one of
great.
your managers, Dan Harrell, laughing about how the rider to your contract that specifies some things that you guys need to do your job. It was the difference between yours and like a rock and roll rider, which usually has fog machine, or yellow M&Ms only, and video games, all this. The rider to your contract was 2 nannies at the hall, lots of Disney videos, bring in
Right on the floor.
Apple
toys,
juice.
apple
Toys,
juice.
apple
It's
juice,
hilarious.
right.
A rolling nursery.
It is funny.
From First Call's latest album, God is Good, a song written by Keith Thomas, Bonnie Keene, and Tori Taff, Breaking Through.
You know there's one part of me that runs straight on. The other part's running for cover. I try to keep the getaway thoughts at bay. Oh, but one thing or the other. It's like a dance of make-believe that keeps me from facing the reality of change. 'Cause I like things to stay the same. Love comes breaking through, shining like a diamond. Finally I'm finding the one love that is true. Feel your light around me, fiery love surround me. I pray. You know that sometimes I hide my heart away, and other times just hand it over. I'm in an endless circle and I'm afraid, yeah, 'cause this heart's growing colder. Just falling for a fairy tale illusion, the promises that never lead me home. Leave me feeling so alone. The love comes breaking through, shining like a diamond. Finally I'm finding the one love that is true. Feel your light around me, fiery love surround me. Reaching out to know me, you're not afraid to show me. Strong enough to make it. You're the only love that will stay. Oh, how I need you so.
It's Breaking Through from First Call and their latest album, God is Good, an album produced in Nashville by Keith Thomas. Our show continues now with host Dan Keene.
Talk about your new album, God is Good, for a moment. What was it like working on the record in the studio? Was it any different from your session work, singing on other people's records or the other albums you've done?
Yeah.
Melody, what do you think?
Well, I think this was the most intense we've ever had to sing. I've never been pushed as hard as I have on this record anywhere. But Keith, he was very experimental with us as far as I like the first song that I did was my solo Unforgiven. And we started with that one, and he had me sing it British, and he had me sing it country, and he had me sing it legit, and he had me sing it, the way I would sing it 4 other different ways. And the thing he did with me was he made me hold my hands behind my back every time I sang any solo, because I gesture a lot with my hands. And he said, when I watch you and sing, there's no doubt I believe every word of what you're saying. But when I close my eyes and listen, I'm not hearing all of this come through. So he said, put your hands behind your back, and I want you to make what you're saying come through your voice and not just your body. And that was the hardest thing in the world to me, to stand there with my hands. I would hold my hands so tight behind my back because I thought, I'm going to let go and I'm just going to become myself again. And it really worked, though, for me, because I would go in and listen and I could tell a difference. And so I really learned.
From the start, you held a place in my as a person who's free.
Even when I slip and fall,
You know, because that He is a God who forgives and forgets.
now I wanna give Him my all. Now I'm forgiven.
Now I have a reason for living. Jesus keeps giving and giving till my heart overflows. I know this love He's placed in my heart. Is a love that will never depart. Sin brought me here to the end of my road.
Now you've given me a brand new heart.
I'm forgiven.
That's First Call, featuring Melody Tunney on lead vocals on that song entitled Forgiven, from the album God is Good, an album that features a lot more solo work than in past First Call projects. Here's Bonnie Keene.
Solo work was like going to the dentist. You knew you needed to do it to get your teeth cleaned or to be better looking, but you didn't really want to go through the experience. I remember when I came in the first day, Mel was singing and we were listening to some stuff, and Keith looked at her and he said, "You ready to go back and start again?" And she said, "Okay." He said, "Okay." He said, "We both know it's coming, don't we?" "Okay." They both looked like, "Okay." And I thought, oh man, I dread this, you know. It got to be hilarious because he had us eating potato chips. And
was our
the most
secret.
amazing thing, I called Mel the next day. I said, "How'd it go?" She said, "Well, it's great, but Bonnie, you're not going to believe this thing. He has you eat potato chips." I said, "What?" She said, "It really works. It's like the oil keeps your vocal cords working, and the salt keeps it all healed up, and you just can work a lot longer, and it puts this edge on your voice." And by the end of the record, I mean, at one point, and I'm not going to say what song, it's like, name that tune that Bonnie Keene is singing with a sweet tart in her mouth. He had me with these huge sweet tarts.
What
Well,
song?
I'm not going to say. One time I looked at him late at night and I said, "Don't make me do this, please. Don't make me do this again."
You're listening to the First Call God is Good radio special. We'll continue with more from Bonnie Keene, Melody Tunney, and Marty McCall after this message.